So today we got Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. Now we all know these are very similar characters. They're both anti-heroes. They're both former sidekicks who died and came back to life. But what we don't know is who wins. That's what we're here to find out. Let's get started. Believed dead near the end of World War II, only to have been found and brainwashed by the Soviets for the next 50 years, Captain America's former sidekick now continues to defend his country in the shadows against those who would threaten it, as the legendary spy and assassin, the Winter Soldier. He became the new Captain America to honor his friend Steve, and he joined the Avengers, but when Steve returned as Captain America, Bucky took on the identity of the Winter Soldier once again. Unlike in the movies, Winter Soldier in the comics doesn't have the Super Soldier Serum, and is instead classified as peak human. But that's not to say that he's not incredibly impressive. He's strong enough to punch through a concrete wall, but he gets most of that strength from his cybernetic arm. He uses arm to rip through a person, a robot, and even a car. Bucky is also durable enough to survive a fall from an airplane, withstand powerful electrical attacks and explosions, and his arm is also bulletproof. Winter Soldier is fast enough to consistently dodge automatic gunfire, has been able to throw Captain America's shield in order to block a sniper bullet, and is fast enough to use a knife to cut Hawkeye's arrow in midair. Buck is an exceptional hand-to-hand fighter thanks to his years of training in the army as a Russian secret agent and his time as Captain America. He's been trained in a variety of different martial arts, and he's fought against Daredevil, Wolverine, Black Widow, and Captain America. Winter Soldier is also an incredible shot, as even as a teenager, he was the best sniper in his division. His marksman abilities have only increased during his time as Winter Soldier, and he's also insanely accurate and lethal with knives. Bucky's arm is capable of emitting electrical shocks, can generate an EMP attack, and he also has a handgun that shoots more powerful bullets than normal, and is actually capable of staggering Ares, the god of war. Then in the other corner we have Red Hood. Jason Todd was the second Robin, but was brutally murdered by the Joker. After he was resurrected, Jason was shocked, learning that Batman did nothing to avenge his death. Anguished and seeking vengeance, he initially turned against his mentor and took on the Clown Prince's former codename, the Red Hood. Eventually coming back to the Bat family, assembling a team of anti-heroes known as the Outlaws, Jason once again fights for justice, just on his own terms. Jason Todd could be considered one of the most dangerous people on the planet, and he's trained his body into peak physical condition. He's physically strong enough to hold up the roof of a building and kick off an airplane door, but it's important to note that a lot of Red Hood's most impressive strength feats, like breaking Supergirl's grip, were when he was on a variation of Bane's venom. He won't be given that venom in this fight. He's also very durable, although a lot of that durability comes from his suit. Jason's armor is bulletproof, and his helmet is incredibly durable as well. Red Hood is fast enough to consistently dodge gunfire, even from great shots like Deathstroke. He's one of the greatest fighters in the world, as he's received training from Batman and the League of Assassins. His fighting style focuses on strength, speed, and brutality, and he's a master of Aikido, Karate, Ninjutsu, Krav Maga, kickboxing, and Taekwondo. With all these skills, Red Hood has been able to battle against Batman and has beaten both Deathstroke and Lady Shiva before. Although, to be fair, Deathstroke was weakened before the fight even began, and he beat Lady Shiva with a unique trick she taught him for how to beat her. Just like all the other members of the Bat family, Red Hood is incredibly skilled in strategy, stealth, surveillance, and has particular taste for deception. Jason has two handguns that he calls some of the strongest guns made by man, as well as tasers, explosives, arm blades, sedative injectors, and anti-tank rounds. So who wins? Let's break it down. Now, I'm a big fan of this fight, because these characters are so similar, but also this battle will be so close. Like, I don't care who you think wins. I can guarantee you it will be closer than you think. But let's get started. Now, when it comes to physicality, I gotta give the edge to Winter Soldier, solely because of his metallic arm. Across all other areas, they're about as equal as you can get, but Bucky's arm gives him a greater strength advantage. He's also a much better shot than Red Hood is, as he's just been shown making more impressive shots with the years. And I know there's the whole thing of Red Hood's armor being bulletproof, so that would take away Winter Soldier's advantage as the greatest marksman. Now, while it's true that his armor is bulletproof, it usually just goes up against regular bullets shot by thugs. Meanwhile, Winter Soldier's handgun has been able to stagger the freaking god of war, so I venture to say that it could pierce that armor, or at the very least, cause some external damage and bruising. However, Buck is at a disadvantage in that his suit isn't as bulletproof as Red Hood's. It's really just his metallic arm that's bulletproof. But both of these guys are able to dodge machine gun fire, and since we've already said that Winter Soldier is a better shot than Jason is, I'd imagine that Buck can also dodge more bullets since Jason isn't as good of a shot. Now as we move on to fighting skill, I'll be honest with y'all and say I'm kind of stuck on who has the advantage. Because look at it this way. Bucky was Captain America for a time, and he was able to take down all the same enemies as Steve, even though Steve is physically superior. So that means that Buck had to rely a lot more on his fighting skill. Then he's fought against Captain America, Wolverine, and Daredevil, and he's even so great that they helped to train Black Widow. But on the other hand, Red Hood has fought and beat both Deathstroke and Lady Shiva. Although here's the thing with that. While it is true that he beat them, those were exceptionally high showings for Jason, because as a whole, I think we can agree that both Slade and Shiva are better fighters than Red Hood. I mean, that's just generally assumed by everybody. On an average day, Jason would be below them, and I'd also say that Winter Soldier is consistently at a slightly higher level than Red Hood as well. I'd give Buck a small advantage, but I'm very hesitant to do it. Like, it's close. It's very, very, very close. And I know. Jason has been trained by Batman, but that's not enough for me here. Like, just his training, it's not enough. Besides, Winter Soldier has a lot more experience here. That's also got to count for something. But what this fight is really going to come down to is gear. I'm not necessarily talking about their handguns, because both of these guys are certified bullet dodgers. No, I'm talking specifically about Winter Soldier's arm, and really if Red Hood could take it out of the fight. He could try and short it out with electrical attack, or even take Bucky out with a taser, but I'm not sure if that would work. I mean, Winter Soldier has taken a blast from the eel before, which is said that eel can generate thousands of volts at once, and he kept on fighting and his arm was just fine. On the other hand, Jason has been knocked off a taser before, and Buck's arm is able to emit electrical charges. We gotta consider Red Hood's knives and arm blades, but Winter Soldier's arm is durable enough to withstand knives. So I would say that they can stand to his arm blades, although that'd be tough, since he's got two arms with blades, and Bucky just has his one metal arm. So at the end of the day, who do I think wins? Oh man, I still don't really know, to be honest with y'all. But if I have to choose, gun to my head, well, let's see. Winter Soldier is physically superior, and a slightly better fighter, so I would say he takes the hard-fought victory, but mostly it comes down to his metallic arm. Of course, Red Hood wins quite a few, especially if he goes for the kill literally from the beginning, but I see Winter Soldier taking the majority on this one. But it's about as close as you can get. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also, I'm trying to brainstorm, trying to think of a new ending, a new closing, a new way to close videos. Sound off in the comments down below. Let me know any ideas that you have. And be sure to hit the subscribe button for videos just like this one every single day.